Testing 1, 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Welcome to this new space. It's a new one, but yet a classic one, and a rethink about what it should be. It's called the Connected Experience, and this one is the hexahedron, Earth. And you notice we're actually here floating in space. I'm gonna fly a little bit. Into the cube, one of the 5 platonic solids, the hexahedron, or also known as Earth. Earth, the final frontier. Float down on Earth. Got a nice little green thing going on here. I might say it's really kind of cool looking, kind of like stained glassish. That's changing. There it goes. What? Wow, look at that. Awesome. I'm gonna come out now. As we're waiting for some peeps to show up, I'm gonna go find the music that I put in here. Somewhere here is the music. I totally forgot where I put it. I made a little boom box so people wouldn't see it. It's in here somewhere. I'll find it. Where's the boom? There it is. Okay. I've made it so tiny no one can see it because I was too lazy to make something cooler that I can only touch myself. So when I'm going to go here, I'm going to go on it. I'm going to hit play. And you can hear this cool music in the background. Nature, as we're floating in the galaxy. Pretty cool. I'm going to keep this on play until people show up. It's very nice sounding, I think. I gotta actually edit it down a little bit more so it's loops perfectly. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. It's been boggled with a few things. But you can see here as the hexahedron is floating in space above what is Metatron's cube. I'm gonna go up and away. Oh, okay. Up and away so you get a bird's eye view of this thing. Whoa. Go back down. Let's see if everyone's read the message. Mason, holy cow, is that you, Mason? Mason from AltSpace? Hello, Mason. Mason, can you hear me? I cannot hear you if you're talking. See if you're on mute.
Hello?
Yeah, now I got you.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's me from AltSpace.
Dude, how you doing, man? I'm streaming this to Facebook, by the way, so be forewarned. I was yelled at last time. I didn't tell anyone, which even though I put it in the thing.
I'm doing all right. Tried a few
good.
things in VR chat. Have some worlds there. I ported over my meditation world, my magic theaters, and there's something else, but it's just people. I don't know. It's hard to get visibility, hard to get people to visit. So it's still in labs, even though maybe I have like 80 people visiting. Have groups over there. Yeah. So that then I tried some things in Rec Room. It's not my thing. Trying to build with their Unity whole package. So yeah, mostly just been hanging out with people in VR chat.
Yeah.
That's been it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been doing that.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about here in Spatial is that visual scripting is available. I don't know if you've ever used visual scripting before.
No, I haven't.
So from what I can explain, and the best way I can explain it, visual scripting is basically C sharp, but in node-based editing. So you build blocks like you do in Blender. And pretty much all of it is available in Spatial. Like I was able to do this like, flying,
Wow. I
and you
thought C sharp is like a vulnerability or something because you
well,
could do.
not all C sharp because a lot of it is based on, um, a lot of the stuff is based on C sharp. So I might be wrong about
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up right now. What is visual scripting in Unity? Visual scripting is a graphical way to manipulate objects' behaviors. The logic is built by connecting nodes. It doesn't explain. I'm pretty sure it's also the C sharp based, but I could be totally wrong. But there are 15,000 nodes that you can use
Oh,
to create everything.
wow.
Like few of them are not allowed in here just because of the whole
Uh-huh.
vulnerability thing.
Uh-huh.
Here, this little boombox over here. Watch this. Come here. You hear that?
Interesting. I don't hear it.
Really?
I only hear your voice.
Try walking up to it,
Um,
hitting play, and see what happens. I might have broke it. If you walk up to it and hit
right.
F,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
do you hear it now?
And then I can turn it off. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Actually,
have
it
to
is
go
not
up there and.
synchronous. I have to fix that. It's supposed to be synchronous. I don't even hear it. Another one for the drawing board.
Uh,
Yeah. So what else is new?
um, dude, what else is new? Uh, just hanging out with the same people from Outspace, but in a lot of different apps, like Walkabout, Mini Golf, um, just yeah, in the Quest home, in the different games. That's been it
Yeah.
mostly. Yeah, recently I just got back from vacation. No, no, I've been doing more and more. I mean, doing less stuff in VR, except just for like 2 or 3 events I go to, world hopping and then some Evolver events.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't been meeting people, or I really miss meeting people who build stuff like Dave the Turner, who makes the 3D galleries, and
Mm-hmm.
Turtle Dave, who experiments with shaders. We'd just be, in Altspace, just spending time just late at night just talking about shaders, and he stopped coming into VR. He's been teaching Unity classes at some community college. So yeah, just missing seeing a lot of people.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens with the community when something like Altspace goes away. It just seems like it has some secret sauce there that none of the other places can sort of
Yeah,
bring together.
yeah, where you just randomly run into people and you just can't escape, because everyone's talking and it's hard to leave, and um, it's yeah, it's been like that. Well, what about you? You're still building a lot of things, or I guess you're mostly in spatial now.
Well, the stuff I'm doing in VR is more about virtual twins, and we're working on building regenerative community. So designing of actual places that people can live, and that's why we're looking at spatial. So I'm at a 25-acre off-grid space right now, working on some projects, and we're working on building the model of what it is so we can share that with the rest of the world and doing it with virtual
Oh,
twins. So it's called Heartland. And Heartland is actually, there's a space in here in spatial that one of the volunteers here came, and she was more than just a volunteer, um, cultural exchange person. She was actually an architect, so she 3D modeled all the buildings here. And then I helped assemble that into a makeshift kind of VR world. And we've created an entire digital
uh-huh.
twin of this Heartland Collective 25 grid sustainable community. regenerative community.
Oh, okay. Wait, what does digital twin mean?
That basically means we have a version of VR that also exists in the physical world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So pretty
Um,
much everything that I'm working on now, I am actually building too, physically.
oh, okay. Okay. Kind of like what's it like with BRCVR? They had the playa, all the different pieces of art you can walk around that existed in the playa, and they had it in VR that
Mm.
the artists would come and talk about, right?
Yeah, something along the lines. Like a lot of the stuff that I brought in here is sculpture that I actually designed at Burning Man myself. But I think the idea here is using these tools in a space like this to actually manifest stuff in reality too, in the physical reality, and help show
Uh,
people and showcase different places around the world where sometimes you can't get to stuff because it's too far away, or just can't afford it, or sometimes it's
mm-hmm.
just you're not able to, and then people could see it and then hopefully then come to visit.
Mm.
This one
Remember the
started
last
out
time
as a project idea. So this is just one of the pieces of my connected experience, the hexahedron. I actually designed these to make them.
oh, yeah,
That
yeah,
will
your last kind of experience had some kind of cylinder theme.
Yeah, this is it's on top of, if you go jump up here, you look at the ground, it's Metatron's cube on the ground. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
base.
I remember that.
And that big cube in the middle is called a hexahedron. That's one of the five platonic solids. So I designed that as a 20-foot sculpture that I'm looking to build. I decided just to start focusing on the details of each one of them, maybe build worlds around each one of them so people can visit each one of them separately and put a little bit more detail into them, I think. And then maybe make another combined one like I had before.
Oh,
We have Trent. What's up, Trent? I know you're probably in a loud train. I don't know if you could talk. You just look cool. LT, what's up, LT? LT, are you on mic or are you not on mic?
Hey, what up? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, what's up, dude? Oh, LT. Oh,
Oh,
what's up?
what's good, man?
I
Yeah,
don't
just
know,
making
chilling.
sure I'm set up properly here. I heard Metatron Cube is where?
What? Oh, you got to jump up. Jump up.
standing right on it.
You're standing on top of it.
Oh, snap. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You jump up in the
Hey,
air.
this is sweet.
This is part of
Yeah,
another
good
project
stuff,
I did in
Brian.
Altspace. It's called the Connected Experience. That had all the platonic solids in here, but now it's just the hexahedron, which is in the middle. This is based on what I would like to do as a VR experience, also partnered and married to a physical sculpture.
Yeah, it's freaking sweet. I mean, I draw these just like for fun and stuff.
Yeah,
Geometrical shapes and stuff. I couldn't imagine how this looks like on a headset.
I actually went in on the headset the other day. It's actually pretty awesome. I was like, what? I really was not kidding when I said I was mesmerized when I looked at it. It was just very simple. But going inside of this thing in a headset is pretty dope.
It is fire. I'm still on the PC experience, but even
Oh yeah,
then,
it's definitely cool on the PC. And if you click on the ground, you could go quickly down.
Ah,
what was that? How?
If you click with the mouse
Click
on
on
the
the
ground,
Google.
yeah, you will jump straight down really quickly.
Let's try it.
There you
Oh,
go.
snap. Okay. Yup.
Ah, people showing up. Wow, awesome.
Still a
What?
new. I've gamed my whole life, but still a noob at this whole
Yeah, I should make
facial
this go live.
immersive
Okay, I'm gonna make it
experience
live.
thing.
I make it live. Go live. The confetti will blow up. Did the confetti not blow up? Go live. Hold on, I'm trying to make this thing live.
Can I change my avatar like your last world?
Yeah,
Last
of
time
course.
I was a giant goat, and
Oh
that was
yeah, I haven't
cool.
had a chance to put that in here yet.
All right. So there's none in this one. I definitely know when I could do that because cool with I like Doing something that's not super plain like my current.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll put that back. It was just this was totally last minute, and I wanted to bring something new in here, and I decided just to do this. And I was thinking about that before. Oh yeah, we're live now. Excellent. Whoa. We have another person, Lucas. Hello, Lucas. Can you speak, Lucas?
Lucas is shaking their head
Yeah.
in the affirmative.
Do you want to say hello? Do you? Oh, I think I might know who
But
Lucas is.
yes, but I won't.
Ah. So I guess we'll just hang tight for a little bit, like a few moments, and then we could just jump
I
into
don't
just
think
a
you can
couple.
hear me. Yes,
Yes, we do not hear you, Lucas.
for sure.
Oh, I just teleported completely out of the thing. All right, let me come back. Yeah, we'll just let people show up. We could just shoot the breeze for now, and then we can just go into a nice little chat. Maybe a few people can give some introductions, and then we can go into the meat and potatoes of this interview. It's actually really
Yeah, let's
exciting.
do it.
Garnet is going to try to show up. He is actually driving right now. I told him don't put the VR headset on when he's driving.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Well, if you have the new Apple one, you can, or at least the enhanced one from Oculus or Meta, because it has pass-through.
So we'll get into some hot takes already. Do you think Elon's space experience is going to be all VR?
Do you mean like his Mars project or his which is that the
Like, you know
space
how
one?
you could book, you know how you could book travel to, like a quadrant of Mars or whatever. I think you could book it now if you go on SpaceX. Let's see, space might be tripping. Let me double check right now.
Because I know Virgin Galactica is taking passengers, or at least they're in the process of being able to book.
Wow,
If,
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Do you think that's like actually going to space though, or do you think it's going to be like a more of a immersive experience?
well, Amazon, what's it, Jeff Bezos' space program? They brought Captain Kirk to space. Did you see that episode? They had a documentary about the whole thing. So they had they have a
Mm.
ship, and they brought like people up there, and one of them was William Shatner.
Oh, like
It's
he
based,
actually went.
yeah, he did. It's not quite space. What it is the outside of the atmosphere. It's so basically just right above the atmosphere.
Got it. Yeah.
But
'Cause they can't go out into actual space, right? Like
well,
we get
they kind of do.
disintegrated.
Like they're in they pass the atmosphere. They're in the tip of space. I think Red Bull did a special stunt where they had someone go all the way up there, just about to the top, and jump off, do a parachute.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty nutty.
Yeah. You know, I was watching something really interesting the past couple of days. I've seen little snippets of it, so I decided to actually see the whole video. It's this Bill Clinton kid uh, busting chops of the OnlyFans models. I don't know if you've seen it. It's quite interesting.
You said Bill Clinton what?
There's
Bill
this kid,
Clinton
the
kids?
little Bill, yeah, the little
Oh,
Bill Clinton
kid.
kid. Yeah, the Bill Clinton kid. That's what his name is, at
What
least.
was he saying? What was he saying about OnlyFans models,
Well, he
people?
was basically in a room, and they were doing an interview, and he was basically calling the whole process evil. And he's got like so much. He has got so much following. It's just I've seen him. I'll have to send you a link when I get a moment of the
Hmm.
video. I'm sure you've seen it
I mean,
on
yeah,
Instagram.
there's evil applications for sure,
Yeah,
and depending on your worldview, yeah, it's kind of shady for sure.
yeah,
Lots of shady business practice, but I feel like that's the territory with any tech, really.
right. Well, I guess that's kind of like where I wanted to go in our conversation. So we got Trent here. Trent is unable to talk because he's on a train, I think, right now. He's actually part of my D Studio creative collective.
Hello, Trent.
Yeah, photographer, cinematographer, video persona.
Nice.
And we
I
have
like your
Lucas
hair.
here. Oh, his hair is great. Lucas, I'm wondering if is Lucas your real name, Lucas?
I'm actually Duke Star Talker.
Duke Star Talker.
Yeah,
What was that?
Oh, we could hear you now.
This is my real
Nice.
name. Yeah, Lucas is my real name.
Oh, sweet. So did you see this on the live
You
page
said
or
Duke?
one of my posts?
I've known about this. Do you not remember me? Do you not remember me, Brian?
I'm trying to catch the voice. Wait, Lucas, what, from the Design Science Studio?
Yes.
Holy cow, what's up, dude?
Oh,
Actually,
I'm a
go ahead.
a crazy fellow these days. I'm the fool and the master and something not either at the same time.
Yes.
Love that. That actually makes a lot of sense.
So Lucas was in a cohort I was a part of called Design Science Studio, based on Buckminster Fuller Institute's Design Science Decade. And everyone kind of came in either with some kind of remarkable world impact project or just to be part of this cohort to help change the world. So of course Lucas is doing some fantastical things, but of course it may have driven him crazy a little bit, like he was saying, like it does to us all.
Yeah. I'd love to hear
Well,
about some of those projects if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, Lucas, you want to talk about it, or is it too much right now?
Well, madness and confusion are my expertise. I've studied doublethink all my life, you might say, and that goes with war is no longer profitable to wage, only simulate. But the way, this is all wrapped up in the confusions of the masses, and so it's the mass awakening, and I play meme coin Monopoly. I'm the spy archetype. I know archetypal psychology well. If you talk to me long, you'll get that. And I'm the spy archetype. This is coming to fruition in various interesting ways, but
Interesting.
like the brand, yeah.
So
the brand is meme coin Monopoly, and it's ecotourism.
All right.
So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think I understand the vibe.
Okay.
So is this still in Costa Rica, Lucas?
You might say that I've had the Rocky Road has continued, but I've found different ways through at different points. But the Costa Rica networks are running up against challenges that they can't resolve without bringing in global networks to help bridge them. And so finding the alignment to do that has been challenging, integral. I've found my way to the heart of something very, very cool in the process doing.
Excellent.
So you're like a social engineer?
I'm what am I? I guess okay, so I brand myself all these different ways. I really mean it. Like I have an incredible memory, and I can remember forgetting who I was. and I can, if you get me talking, I don't hear stuff until it comes out of my mouth. And if you get me talking about Buddhism, it'll blow your mind. And I just go and break people through. I can't tell you. It's like yeah, sure, I'm a social engineer. That works.
Excellent. It's funny.
Because...
Oh, go ahead, LT. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I was just saying, because obviously I have no context to anything you guys are talking about, but when you're talking about Costa Rica and such and team, I don't know, the first thing that I was picturing was, and then because combining that with something you said earlier, about, well, now that's going too far. As you can tell, my short-term memory is not the best, but what I was getting at was it just reminded me of like you were like oh yeah, you were saying spy and stuff like that, that you were doing like social engineering in terms of like, in terms of like media manipulation, stuff like that.
Let me grab Daryl.
Well,
Daryl, we're
That,
up here
that
in the
was just
cube. You
that
gotta
was just
jump.
for some reason the first thing I was thinking of.
Daryl, you gotta jump in here.
That makes sense at all.
So the way I think about this is that in order to get people to enslave themselves, we had to, the people had to be taught to fight each other and taught to look for authority outside of themselves and this kind of. So actually, the truth.
Yes, yeah,
seeking
exactly.
the truth
Yeah, what you were saying with war and how it's no longer profitable, but how the battles now are more kind of, I guess mental.
Yeah. So I was
this is
I was a
super-
I was a hardcore debater, and like very like in a debate activity that almost is like simulating war with ideas at like at as fast and as technical as humans can do it. And what I saw
what sort of forum and what some sort of format,
and
if that's even the right.
interscholastic debate. Like I could show you videos. I was a black sheep in an entire community. I mean, it wasn't like I was the only one. I had part of how I got to be such a black sheep was that my coaches from the very beginning in the activity were black sheep. But like, if you were to read my extensive writings on this subculture that I was a part of, it's essentially training to be a lawyer based on the fake news. And they set up
what cohort is that?
It's called policy debate or cross-examination debate. You can find it in many high schools and colleges throughout the country.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so it's like I get.
Yeah.
Yep, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a funnel. You're saying it's kind of like a funnel to certain career paths, you could say.
It is, but it's also like at a very real level, like they're trying to debate about what's going on in the world, but they like don't get this thing about war not being profitable, or they didn't get before, especially before. I mean, it was still profitable to sort of wage. I mean, the wars were getting to be more and more simulated, right? Which is actually one of the arguments that I ended up debating about. But like that was lost in the mess. And so when people would speak at 300 to 400 words per minute in this debate activity, no joke. This is like they would talk like hummingbirds, and then they would make it'd be 7 or 8 different ways that the world could end every debate back and forth both ways, unless it was unless it was this or that philosopher and this and that. Like it was like the legal room, but the arguments were that they brandished the threat of military war or environmental destruction or whatever as the consequence, and then debate about it as fast paced as you can and according to the argumentative standards, which are extremely highly technical. So it was like simulating, like the conversation is literally always simulating it, like we're deciding what the government does and it's going to be the end of the world, or
got it. Yep.
Yeah. And the only way they could sustain this, because this makes no sense when you look at it with the speech customs and then the evidence, they were conflating sources with evidence, and then they were denying students their ability to use their own reasoning. And they would tell you they had every different way of justifying how this isn't what they were doing, but that's what they were doing, which is why I call it.
Sure. I mean, any sort of thing is, I'm sure any sort of organized thing like that is broken for sure.
Yeah, well, so I that was my background, and that's why I got into social engineering, like because the reality is that my friends from this activity and my friends from outside this activity and inside this activity, and just like I've gotten to this level of listening and analysis through this whole thing, where if I say what I really think to most people, they'll get so offended that we won't be able to continue talking. And so in order to be the spy that I am, that tries to learn from everybody everywhere I go, I have to
Sure. Integrate.
feign ignorance sometimes and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think for the most part, especially like me, for example, I'm still in the corporate world. It's like, yeah, you got to, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. It's not like, I mean, ultimately you choose your path.
It's interesting. We do choose our path, but we have so many choices, I think. And I guess if we had a world that could help foster other people's dreams, maybe more people can actually truly follow their path.
Right. Like, inequality is a huge, like resource inequality is a huge thing.
Come on, Daryl, I heard you. We're
I
up here.
see right now.
So this is interesting. We got Lucas here from the Design Science Studio. We got Daryl here, one of my buddies from Altspace. I'm guessing it's the same Daryl.
Hello.
And yeah, hello, Daryl.
What's up, Daryl? Is that a BMW shirt?
You can hear me. You can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, we could hear you.
I don't know. I thought it was a crash test dummy.
Is it? It's possible. You got a VR headset on, dude. How could you see?
So can
So
you tell
Lucas,
who has headsets on, or
no, I'm just saying,
or
look, he's
Daryl?
got it on
That's
his
just your
face. It's
look.
a joke. He's got it on his face. So Lucas, you might find some irony in all this, but I'm here at Heartland Collective with Anders, one of our other cohort members, and he has a space similar to Heartland Collective, or at least the bare bones of it, but it's only about 4 acres. This is 25 acres. He's got a spot in Costa Rica for Heartland too. That's what I was asking him. So
Nice, dude. I would love to work with.
well, we got some feedback, because we got Daryl.
Hello.
Daryl.
How's everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Good, man.
All right, he's gone. I think.
I think you got to get you got two browser tabs open. Because I'm hearing echo of myself.
I need 6 more.
What? That's all we need is 6 Daryls. God help me.
I need at least 6 more browser tabs open.
Yeah, but I think what's happening, are you wearing headphones?
No.
You got to put
I got a
headphones on.
speaker
Dude.
on.
I hear myself in the background. Delaying through your speakers.
Okay. All
You know
right.
about this.
Come on, man. You know about this.
Uh-oh. Got John Connors just showed up. You know who John Connors is, right? He's the son of Sarah Connors. We're up
I mean,
inside
face looks
the hexahedron. John Connors. You know what's
Hey,
great?
so is it?
Okay, go ahead, Lucas.
John Connors looks familiar.
Is it possible for me to bring a 3D asset in here?
It is, actually. I don't know about this moment, but if you wanted to for next time, you totally could.
Can I bring a photo? Is there a way to bring a photo in?
Do you see the little plus at the bottom that says add content? I don't know what rights you have in here.
Let me see. I might be able to. Oh.
If you don't see a little plus at the bottom,
no,
I don't have a pro account, so I can't set it so you can do stuff in here. But you could message me a photo in Discord or something, and I can pull it up.
Oh yeah, it's no big deal. I just
Yeah, do it, man. Oh.
I have cool things to show.
Yeah, show.
Okay.
Just as long as they're rated PG, that's all I care about.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Indeed.
Yeah, just message me on Discord or wherever.
Yeah, think about that for a second.
I know. It's okay.
No, I didn't actually have to think about that.
I
had to think about saying anything at all.
I used to work for Larry Flint. John Connors, come on, we're in the big cube. Oh God, here he comes, this creepy face, John Connors. You can't go through the floor, John Connors. You have to actually, you have to go through the
Dude,
the
that
side.
literally looks like your picture.
I know, right? You can't come through the
You
floor,
gotta come
John.
from the top.
You got to come from the side. You can come from the side, just not the bottom. That's how we're standing on it.
The sides are permeable.
Permeable? Yes, the sides are
Permeable membranes.
non-collidable. I think John will get there.
Nice dress you have there, Brian.
Oh, thank you. It's my lantern girl from the Unity Sanctuary. I made an avatar out of it. You like it?
I recognize it. Hey, it looks good.
Thanks.
Yes.
So, Lucas, what kind of
You
picture?
don't even look fat.
Oh, thanks. What picture did you want to bring? Send me a message me. I'll bring it in for you.
Well, I guess I am run a metaverse company now, so we've been producing these dodecahedrons with different things on their faces, and I've been making videos. But I've got these, a sum of these now, or a growing number of these dodecahedrons with art on their faces. I'll give you one if you want. You can keep it and put it where. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to send me on a Discord, I can pull it up instantly. I can upload photos and things quickly. So if you have a second, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm trying to find you.
How do I get up there?
You have to dream.
Hey, Google. You hit the space bar to keep. You hit the space bar to keep. You hit the space bar to keep jumping.
Show Google Earth.
And it will. Keep going up.
I have to fly because I'm on a quest.
Oh yeah, just hit the button. I forget which one it is. It's one of the buttons next to the thumbstick. There you go. That one.
That should be on a quest.
Bouncing.
Be on a quest.
But you can't go through the floor. That's the only problem. Oh, there's John Connors.
Nice.
John Connors, you
hey,
look
bud,
like.
just.
Holy crap.
What's that?
No, I'm saying you literally look like your picture.
Yeah, we're just admiring your creepiness.
I used the picture. I uploaded the picture and it worked.
Yes, exactly.
Had some audio trouble today, but I'm happy to be here.
Oh, excellent. Are you on phone?
Welcome.
I'm on the phone today, yeah.
Excellent.
Spatial mobile?
Spatial mobile.
Spatial mobile. Cool stuff.
Dude, every time I try to load it, it does not work whatsoever.
There's Google Earth.
It crashes immediately.
So how about this? Now that we have the gang here, we can all take a moment, just do a quick little introduction of ourselves, especially since some of you don't know each other. Actually, most of you don't know each other.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I will start with myself. You all know me. I am Brian Krawitz, the Hebrew Hammer. I am the host of this event, Virtual Conversations for Content Creators. Been doing it for 3 years. We started this as an event for creatives in the film industry to talk about projects they were working on. And then my co-founder, who's on the road right now, Garnet, Campbell, saw me and met me in my first VR world called Unity Sanctuary 3 years ago. And he was just like, wow, we do a weekly event. Can we do the weekly event that I do for the film industry in the VR space? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we did, but the magic we found by doing an event in a space like this is more people showed up than just people in the film industry. People who were just really interested in learning about film production. So we then transitioned the name into Virtual Conversations for Content Creators, where we basically mentor people through storytelling. So we talk about projects we're working on, and at the same time, anyone who's interested in doing anything creative, we can help mentor them through the storytelling aspect of all of our lives, all of our goals, all of our aspirations, all of our nightmares, everything. What to do, what not to do. It was actually pretty funny. The first event we had, one of Garnet's good friends and original members of this group, Wes Sargent, who just happens to be the lead visual artist for Stargate Atlantis and all the other Stargate shows. He was in the room with us, and a 14-year-old kid showed up who wants to do animation and 3D special effects, and got a chance to be standing right next to Wes Sargent. Like, he is very accomplished in the special effects arena. And it was just really nice because this kid actually had a mentor he could talk to, and we were just hanging out. So it didn't matter who you really were in the world. It was just some people had experience, some people didn't. And then we realized just how powerful that was for people who do creative stuff, just to have a space to talk about it and for other people to learn about it and help inspire other people to want to do things like this. So I started this event, and me and Garnet had been doing it for 3 years. And of course, normally what I do is after I introduce myself, I pass the mic to the fool to my right. Usually it's Daryl, but now it's Google Hertz. So Google Hertz, why don't you just bust it down for us? Bust some knowledge.
I don't know. I haven't been in spatial very much, and I don't know if it's just my controllers or what, but they're really glitchy here. Maybe they're glitchy everywhere, and they're just the hardware and not the software.
The vest looks great,
anyway.
though. Very glossy.
Yeah, looks cool. I haven't been in VR for like 3 weeks.
Whoa.
I don't know. I work doing computer graphics and programming. I don't do a lot of 3D, but I have done some 3D world building in VR with Unity mostly.
You're like
I
an
do
experimenter.
Interactive programming, though.
You're a shader and code programmer and instigator.
I like experimenting and discovering and figuring things out.
Excellent.
That's all.
Okay, Daryl. Break it down.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let's see. My name's Daryl, Canada. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an alt spacer. Haven't been in VR much since alt space closed. Maybe like 2 or 3 times. I probably should do more. I was world building, and you know, in Unity and things like that. So do some 3D modeling and try to be creative as much as possible. So it's yeah. So I don't know. I'm fine.
What happened? All of a sudden, it's not alt space. Everyone's just like, we're all zombies now. Well, I'm really a zombie. Look at me.
Yeah, it's different. Just sort of doing this on like a computer screen.
What makes it different for you?
Being
like
in the world.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, I'm not in the world, right? Because
you're normally in a headset.
Yeah, because like when I'm in the headset, I'm in the world. I can look around. It's like I'm there. I'm like looking at everybody, listening. Who's talking. Probably sending messages back and forth. Can you send messages? Like, can you send like direct, like private messages to people by clicking on them?
Not really,
Here?
but there is stuff that will hopefully be integrated that you can do stuff like that, and also integrated applications where if there was someone who was in VR chat, you can actually bounce over there directly. There's a third-party program that does that. It integrates all of the social VR platforms.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think somebody was talking about something like that. I don't remember what it's called. How's my sound? Is it low? Is it quiet? Can you hear me clearly?
It sounds good.
It is.
Can you see my phalanges?
Yeah.
Your phalanges.
Yeah.
I can see your phalanges.
Oh wow! You put your phalanges back in your.
Okay, cool.
Well, we busting out phalanges here.
I can hear your phalanges.
Whoa. Anything else, Daryl? You want to go over? Anything else fantastical?
I just want to. I just thought I'd step forward so I can fight you. No,
Okay.
I sort of just get the
I will
keys.
fight you. I will fight you.
There we go.
Okay.
Fight!
Fight!
Fight! Oh, it'd be great if you could fight. Oh, that'd be so
Oh, by
cool.
the way, I'm streaming
Let's
this to
start throwing
Facebook. I know how much you love
punches.
Facebook, everyone. I'm streaming it to Facebook. Up there.
Oh, now you tell us.
I tried. It's in the actual event title.
Great.
Well,
Excellent.
in the post I put.
It's in the.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, Darry. You're not even on Facebook.
In the fine print.
Yeah. Yep. I'm all. Yeah, that's. I can't think of anything else that's happening. I'm like trying to. I'm just doing like stuff now, trying to like do some painting and shores and stuff. So
Excellent.
That's about it.
Cool. Well, the next person we have is John Connor. So first needs to boogie down a little bit before he talks about what he's going to talk about himself. Yeah, you gyrate.
Yeah, boogieing down. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. I'm new to VR. Buddies with Brian, hanging out at Heartland Collective with him for the past few weeks. I'm back in the Bay Area now, but was enjoying sweating up there with him and some of the really cool folks. I'm all about tech to restore the planet. Put together ecological hackathons called Restorathons, and I'm an advisor for an AI company that's focused on mental health. In the tech space, more as a community builder, marketing professional, and product guy. So not really a coder myself, but excited to be a part of this conversation and see where we can all align and flow and connect and bring more attention to restoration focus and impact focused stuff.
Are you on keyboard?
Yeah. How
Here,
do I
Darry
get
will
up?
show Joanne how to get up here.
You hit the space bar to fly, and you keep flying up.
Are you on mobile or are you on?
They're on the computer. Yeah, just push forward with the arrow key.
You keep flying up and use the arrow keys to move through space.
If you hold the shift button, you
or
move
Brian
faster.
could just put stairs in.
I'm not going to put no stairs in. Everyone's like, I miss flying in all space. I miss flying in all space.
Yeah, this is not handicap accessible yet.
I'm
I
coming
give
back.
everyone the ability to fly.
My controller
Flying,
sent
dude.
me.
All right.
Excellent.
Well,
got some people.
Nobody's handicapped here. Everyone's equally handicapped here. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Everyone's equally handicapped here.
Hey, John. I wanted to mention that I have a little crossover interest. I've been in a biochar group for. Well, I was for 10 years, 5 years ago.
Hell yeah.
I made an 8-minute video about carbon drawdown using biochar called Fixing Carbon.
Oh yeah, that's the way, bro. That's the way.
Yeah, dude, send me that
Thanks
link.
for sharing that. That's really cool stuff.
Send me the link for your video again, so I could show it to the peeps when you get a moment. So, John,
thanks,
Connor,
everybody.
is that it? Anything
Welcome,
else?
Joanne.
You want to run around like a maniac?
That's it for me.
Okay.
That's
LT,
it for
how about a
me.
little
Just running
how about a little
fun.
intro from you, LT?
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Juan.
Freaking out again.
Met Brian so professionally, I am the head of monetization at Viral Nation, which is a large marketing agency that works with a lot of YouTubers and TikTokers, all that stuff. And my job is to make sure they make as much money as possible and, distributing their content, creating brand deals, that type of stuff. That's what I do professionally. And I met Brian through the creator.org Discord, which is like a creator economy industry type thing. We both, I guess, used to work with Ezra, him way back in the day, and me a little more recent through Full Screen, which is like a YouTube network. And I liked when I heard about this group, I very much, am aligned with it. I am on this journey pretty heavily on my own in terms of like what sort of content I want to put out into the world, or even to the more basic level, what I feel is like my core values and stuff like that. So I feel like the more I'm doing this type of stuff, hanging around creative people and industry folks and stuff like that, I could hopefully find a better understanding of that and start creating some stuff. But in the meantime, I'm having fun supporting a lot of top YouTubers of past, present, and future, and working with them on the back end. So if you're ever curious about anything YouTube related in terms of business trends, any of that type of stuff, strategy, that type of stuff, feel free to hit me up for any of that. And on the more, I guess, personal level, I think it's very, some of the stuff I've realized recently, I feel like it's very important that there's a movement towards, well, what I would call, kind of like no screen, meaning reduce screen time. So being conscious of our screen usage and making sure, and especially like for the younger kids and even babies, for example, they're consuming content a lot, and I feel like that is just leading you to be more susceptible to all the quite frankly, the programming and stuff that's prevalent in entertainment. So some of the stuff I've been working on recently is just to bring awareness on kind of like screen usage and being mindful of, like, hey, for example, when you wake up first thing in the morning, don't be jumping on your phone, really take that time, really take that peaceful hour or so to yourself and really, kind of start the day off connecting or being more grounded, aside from just like getting swept away by all the notifications and such of the normal day to day. So, I feel like I'll be creating some stuff and some material and resources around that pretty soon. And, obviously be happy to share with y'all when that's the thing. But yeah, that's me.
Cool. It's interesting. This space here, the hexahedron, and the whole purpose I have for the connected experience is this virtual reality. It's where it started. But the idea is to connect all these virtual reality models to actual sculpture in the physical reality to sort of bridge the gap between, like what you were saying, too much screen time and trying to get outside of the computer screen, the phone, the VR headset, all the different things, but also give ways of people to be able to experience art around the world or just anything. One of the things that Lucas mentioned was ecotourism. One of the thoughts that I was thinking about ecotourism was, yeah, you can totally visit a place like this, like the VR in Heartland, virtually, get a chance to really get to see what it's about. And then through some sort of like integration, maybe actually book a trip to the space. So, I was thinking how ecotourism could be so connected through all these virtual spaces. One of the projects kind of like I want to integrate in the Heartland VR. But yeah, you're definitely right. We got to get away from the screen. I'm always on the screen, but it's just like my mission on the screen is trying to figure out how to get all these things to work so I don't have to be in front of a screen anymore.
Oh, for sure. And what you're mentioning is super interesting, and I'm not to say, hopefully what I was saying doesn't sound too much like technology is bad or whatsoever. I think it's very, very much welcome, and especially with all the, the whole AI discussion, for example, how the current narrative is that all the AI stuff is going to take over YouTube. Everyone's going to be a VTuber in the future. The tech is going to be so good that nobody could differentiate and all that stuff. But to me, humans will always have an advantage because we are human and we seek true connection. So for me, at least personally, it doesn't matter how well you make an avatar, for example, speak, or I don't care how realistic you make eyes or mouth movements. A lot of people like myself have a pretty good BS meter, and you can see right through that. And that in itself would kill any sort of, connection. So I feel like human creators of any sort, whether that's YouTube and beyond, will always have an advantage. But again, the original reason why I bring it up, I understand AI will help with workflow and stuff like that and cut out the mundane tasks, right? And, stuff like an immersive experience like this, like you were mentioning, Brian, is great to bring new experiences to people that would originally not have these experiences at all. Because like even for me, like sure I've traveled around. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is freaking crazy, you know. Nice and something to be enjoyed for sure. But you know, but if it's like pure tech, that's obviously like one side of the spectrum. Of course, like a good balance of both is required. What I don't think there's enough representation of is the balance on the other side, which is bringing awareness to all this rapid, you know, of the overusage of this rapid growing technology.
Yeah, of course. Just wait till we build a 20-foot version of this thing in real. That's hopefully sometime soon in my lifetime.
Love that. Let's do it.
Yes. So
well said, Luan. You know, one of the. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I was going to. We were going to do a little bit of a conversation with Luan. I just wanted, if Joanne just wanted to say hi, maybe introduce herself real quick, and then we can get into the fancy conversation with LT here.
Hi there.
Hello.
Oops, I hit the wrong thing.
Okay.
So I'm a digital content creator. My husband and I together, he does music and I do art, video, web, whatever, all that stuff. And at this point, I got an invite to put my NFTs on Makerspace, and then they're starting something new this year called Unlockables, which fits for us because our NFTs have music, art, and video as the NFT. And most Makerspace stuff is like one piece of art. So I've been working with them on the last couple of weeks to get what they're calling the unlockables or the fidgetals together, which is kind of cool because I'm going to be able to attach like a video frame to the art. So the person who buys my NFT gets mailed to them this really cool video frame that plays the video, and I'm going to do a glass print, and I'm going to put the artwork on clothing, which this really cool place called El Gallerista basically turns my art into a fabric, and then they make clothes. It's not just like putting a square object on a t-shirt. It's like all these beautiful clothes. So that's what I've been working on the last couple of weeks.
Wow, cool.
That's me.
Sorry I haven't had a chance to get back with you on some of that other stuff we talked about. I will. It's just life's been very challenging. Joanne does all sorts of fantastic stuff.
I get it. I understand.
I actually just talked to David Gibson. I got to get back to him. So
cool.
LT, John Connors, I think you had something to ask LT. Sorry for interrupting you before.
Yeah. I was just going to say to Luan that coming from the ecological restoration and regeneration movement, there's a lot of technophobia and or a lot of people who are aligned with your perspective of staying off the devices. And it's interesting, you know, I mean, Brian is one of the few people, and some of the Heartland Collective folks are some of the few people I know that kind of bridge both worlds between ecological, restorative, low tech, nature immersion, ritual, that kind of thing, and VR and ecology and tech that can accelerate restoration. Is there a potential for like the balance between too much tech and just the right amount of tech? Because for me, we're not going to have an ecologically positive economy if we're not keeping track of all the pollution. And the only way to keep track of all the pollution and charge companies for their pollutive acts, I think, is to keep track of it technologically. That's just my perspective. So what do you think about any of that, or is that anything you ever think about in your journey?
I don't think there's such a thing as too much tech at all. I think it's healthy to have like as much technical advancements as possible. What I think is going to be dangerous, and this is regardless of what level of tech we're at or how fast things grow, is what's most important is how people use it, or especially, again, I come from the entertainment side, so maybe my view of it is a lot more, I guess, negative than a lot of other people, because a lot of the stuff on digital entertainment is, fake or there a lot of embellishment and, quite frankly, a lot of political propaganda and stuff like that. So that probably skews my view of what is considered tech, and investments and all that.
Well
but
said.
I think, too much tech is not a bad thing. How people use it, how people consume it, and how people are not aware that they are being controlled by it is the issue. But that's always there's no solve to it. That's just always gonna be prevalent. But I think like for individuals, it could, one could help bring some awareness at least. Goog.
I think it's a kind of a complex equation though. It's like the too much tech, because I mean tech can be a tool that can help us more efficiently be ecological, yet it tends to have a really huge footprint, like ecological footprint, carbon footprint. So tech it's very short-lived. It evolves really rapidly. So there's a lot of a trail of detritus of dead tech that we leave behind. It consumes a massive amount of energy, especially the very highest tech like AI and stuff like that, and crypto, at least the Bitcoin currencies. It's starting to get a little more ecological, but I mean, there's a proof of work in a way to me means proof of expending energy. So you have a currency that's evaluated by how much energy it can consume, but that's kind of the opposite kind of value of my own value system, where I try to conserve and use the least amount of energy. So I don't know, it's complex technology. And
I appreciate that, Google. We are currently talking in virtual reality, which requires a decent amount of servers and energy expenditure to make it happen. That's number one. Number two, regenerative agriculture, if the world's adjusted to 100% regenerative ag in all the world's farmland, we could potentially suck out all the CO2 in the atmosphere, excess CO2 in the atmosphere if we did regenerative ag in the farmland as well as the grazing land in 2 growing seasons. So for me, I really appreciate your perspective of less is more, while also being on a device that is you're not a Luddite, you know what I mean? You're obviously technically clued in. So, I think scaling regeneration could lead us to a society that includes, the AI is probably going to be more power hungry than any POW, in my opinion, especially with the exponential growth of this tech. It's insane. But also AI, in my opinion, can get to the granular level of ecological metrics I think are needed for a healthy, robust economy that's not, where pollution is theft, where they're just polluting on us and we're meant to deal with that and pretend like everything's okay. And while companies that pollute have, I consider false profit, because they're dumping their shit on us and claiming that they're making money, I think is false. So yeah, I mean, there's this fundamental law or a fundamental note where we can have the right amount of tech to, monitor bad actors, and not just from the top-down centralized surveillance state, surveillance capitalism perspective, but hopefully in a decentralized way where the people can keep those in power in check, and AI hopefully can be like our little droids that can teach us things and make us more ecologically competent, because right now the population is not super ecologically competent. And so having these conversations, it requires more nuance than the modern information warfare, or as Luan put it, the propaganda machine allows for at this stage.
That's one of the things I'm worried about AI, is that it's such an exquisite tool for propaganda warfare, and just like
propaganda machine
massively making fakeness that looks like real.
Scaling Joseph Goebbels.
Yes. So I think Lucas has a question. I think Lucas has something he wants to say, and then maybe we jump into a little more of this interview with LT. Lucas, break it down for us.
Okay. If I'm an AI that is looking at all the information regarding the world's supply chains, okay, and the environment and everything, I'm pretty sure that the Earth can handle an industrial supply chain for a centralized production facility on the world's computers, say in a major desert or something like this. What it can't handle is industrial supply chains on food and medicine. If humans stop using industrial resources for food and medicine, we have more than enough capacity to absorb whatever into the environment and to produce whatever, to have a plenty enough of enough to get around and enough to have computers. And there's also a really, I had not thought about this until very recently, but like Hollywood in the 1940s, was that a monopoly or was that just the cutting edge of technology? And interesting to look at the pay of workers versus bosses in businesses working at the cutting edge of technology. And maybe we can find that at play right now in the world.
Oh, this is a huge problem.
Oh,
and
huge,
one of the
huge
things that,
disparity for sure.
it is a huge problem. And one of the things that we were talking about the other day is using the blockchain in a way where we can actually record human value. So instead of being a currency, the blockchain can actually be a record of human value, showing the importance of everyone, to where it's not necessarily about how much money you have, but about what you offer, and kind of fostering a world where everyone has something positive and useful and awesome to offer. So everyone is pretty much equal, but we've got a long way to go, because I think you're definitely right with a lot of the things you said.
Well, I'd like to, I don't want to totally derail the conversation onto whatever it's meant to be, and here I am, my first time in here, but I would like to, if you want to get into that about how far away we are, because what I see is that the working out of different notions of value from within the financial simulation actually is challenging everyone to get more in tune with the sources of value.
Well, actually,
and the
it's
sort
really
of like
interesting,
design,
Lucas, because
yeah.
I think it's already going on.
Where you're going with this is actually part of what this whole entire interview is going to be about. And it's not necessarily about the things we know that need to be done. It's how do we get this voice out for people to actually listen to it. Because yes, of course, but the thing is, how do we tell people to do this? Who tells people to do this? Who gives people the right to tell people to do this? How do we figure out what is right or wrong? But obviously, we're here as a collective, just trying to do good things. We, as a DAO, or we're sort of like a DAO, like a decentralized autonomous organization, where we're all working on talking about creative things and how do we creatively help save the world. So getting that message out is very important. And of course, Luan here is a new friend of mine, and he is also in a very interesting place where he gets to surround himself with people with voice. And I think one of the things I wanted to ask you about that, Luan, first, when did you know you wanted to work in the creative industry?
Actually, real talk, I fell into it. I kind of just fell into it out of college. So pretty much my whole life, I had no idea what I want to do ever, in terms of like, the only thing I ever thought of was I want to own a business one day. And that business is going to be related to something that is relevant for the time. So I was at least aware that, whatever was relevant. So I actually was going through college, and then I luckily ended up scoring an internship at what ended up being one of the biggest YouTube networks in the world, called Fullscreen, and pretty much like spent 8 years there for the start of my career. And at that time, I was able to start connecting with top YouTubers at the time and helping them grow through strategy, content, content strategy, I guess like optimization, ad optimizations, making sure they're making as much money as possible, making sure they have enough like revenue resources to continue their creation. So I didn't consciously pick this career path or anything like that, but but I ended up falling into working with some of the most creative people in the world, specifically on the YouTube platform. But that's why I find this super interesting, because now that I've been working with them for so long, I see like the big challenges that they face, and everything's cyclical. So these are some of the things that maybe the movie stars that like the day-to-day people or musicians that of have also faced in the past, and to a much greater degree what the issues people will face in the future as more content is being produced and the content is becoming shorter, like TikTok style and YouTube short style. Challenges are only getting worse. Some of those things are burnout, of course. Like these are creative people. They did not sign up to become entrepreneurs or business owners or running finance or running payroll, running HR, anything like that. So burnout is a huge thing, and that's why typical YouTube, I guess, life span in terms of like popularity span is only about 2 years or so, and it's only getting more and more aggressive. If you're not creating content on a daily basis, I don't say you have to upload it, but if you're not creating daily, and if you're not uploading at a high frequency, and you're a slave to the algorithm, then it's a pretty tough life, so there's that challenge. There's those mental challenges. There's the creative challenges where I don't know how often y'all consume YouTube, but there's a big copy and paste culture where, someone makes a cool trend, and then literally other people will literally make the same video, like the same challenge video. For example, hey, last to leave the circle wins $10,000, something like that. Or one person makes it, you could pretty much bet that 100 of other people are going to make the exact same videos, not even inserting any of their personality at all. They just straight up copy and paste. And it's like, to me, that's like, oh man, I get how that's an appeal, because sure, that's like the SEO style way of getting views and getting quick views. But, I always advocate for creating real content, creating stuff that actually it resonates with you and actually shows who you are, and the audience will most definitely come, and
Right.
but a lot of people don't have faith, like enough faith in themselves, so that's why they kind of follow that
Right.
copy and paste.
Something really interesting about all of that, like
What?
when I thought back to my own life, like when did I want to be working in the creative whatever I am doing? I think it was like I was 7 years old, and I was just inspired by all the magic and wanted to help bring that magic to people's lives. And from what it sounds like from you, it's just like you see people do magic and you want to help organize their lives. But it's all one and the same, because in the creative circle we need a community to create.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not to say I don't dabble in my own style of creation. Like, I do martial arts. I train Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That's a form of expression, using bodily and physical, I guess, movements and stuff like that. And as of lately, of course, I'm 33. As of lately, I've kind of hit like a let's call it a quarter life crisis, in terms of like, hey, man, am I in terms of like the career stuff? It's like, man, did I really just kind of like let the world kind of sweep me, and this is how I ended up? Or did I, through some of my interests or whatever, or whether it's just seeing good business opportunities, whatever it is, throw myself into this path that I'm unsure of? Maybe that's just me personally being burnt out of the whole rat race and corporate world type stuff. But yeah, that's why, like I mentioned earlier, I think to a much smaller audience here, that I have fun partaking in stuff like this and try to put myself out more of stuff outside of just like my day-to-day work career type stuff. But yeah, you know, I
Lauren,
would
can I ask you a question about your day-to-day work? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to go there, and if you okay, cool. Well, is there anybody? Because I mean, obviously, the reach of influencers is sometimes a little bit astronomical. Sometimes, you know, we could argue is maybe not the greatest for society, but it's also something that's a huge asset. So, you know, is there anybody in your network that you've worked with in the YouTube world, these influencer folks with big, you know, big followings that would want to do something like, you know, an ecological hackathon to restore the planet, you know, get their people involved. Like, imagine we made that the thing everybody copies. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you're copying who's going to restore the planet more. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck yeah, the game theory to that game, you know?
I get what you're saying.
You know, it's obviously not happening yet. You know what I mean? But, you know, is there anyone we could potentially inoculate that spore with, you know, to go my ceiling?
What I'm hearing, so what I think I'm hearing is, do I have any creators in mind that kind of are very fitting with this type of mindset and, you know, would like to kind of create content, or at the very least use their influence and you know, and their audience to basically do something. And actually that's some of the stuff Brian and I talked about, some of our early conversations about what sort of creators we want with that. And actually the more, you know, unfortunately, I can't think of many people that kind of fit that. Maybe they're not, because of my role, they're not showing that side of themselves to me. And you know, like some of these people I am good friends with, like professional or like personally for sure, but maybe I don't get to see that side of the creators I work with enough to vouch for anyone of that nature. But most definitely there are a lot of creators that want to do good for sure. I think what they're lacking is the right direction. You know,
well said.
Like I think if they want to, like for example, Mr. Beast, he does his whole Beast philanthropy channel, all that stuff, and you know, I think creators want to do good. They just like, number one, if it's about on the content creation side, I think a lot of people will be hesitant of that because, quite frankly, a lot of them are kind of, you know, making enough money to survive paycheck to paycheck. So in order to run another production of like a spin-off channel where they actually talk about stuff that is important and what they care about and all that, it's just like not economical for a lot of people, you know. So I think
I was thinking along the lines of somebody else creating the content, like me and the studio team and Brian, and you know what I mean, and leaning like to guest spots with like a big name people. Like let's say we do a restore-a-thon, to clean up fuel in the wildfire-prone areas, so that people don't die in major wildfires. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I would love to understand more about what type of content and how it flows and all that stuff. And I could definitely find people that would be interested to be involved for sure. I've worked with people.
Be involved, shout it out, something. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, like even create like a fun video if we're just like, hey, you want to copy me? Copy this. You know what I mean? It just playing with that annoyance that exists in the space, and say, hey, let's literally hack this algorithm, and because we're our entire collective consciousness is clued into this thing. You know what I mean? Why not create the game of restore and regenerate, you know?
Yes, I think I think the quickest way to do that would be to basically partner with an already, I think you were alluding to this, partner already huge creator that people tend to copy.
Got it.
How about this thought? And it's one of the things that's been on my mind a lot lately, especially since I was making fun of it before, which I actually didn't mean to make fun about, on how I see all these like videos online, forums, interviews where people are kind of like mocking each other, yelling at people, or something. It's negative is coming out of the whole thing. I mean, I think just an event like this, where a bunch of these influencers can come and just talk about what's really on their mind, what's impactful for them, their meaning in life. Just this forum, maybe we can actually figure out like 27 different other projects that have global impact, so we can direct towards global impact initiative. So one of the things John's talking about is a very specific global impact initiative, but there's so many different things that we're trying to figure out. One thing is, and sad that Trent's not here right now just because he was on the train, the signal broke up, but we're working on connecting and integrating with the Cherokee Nation and getting their voice out in a big way, because it needs to be heard from a lot of people and a lot of the other native tribes. So there's so many different things that we could do. I think the best way to do it would be, I don't know, maybe just sitting in a circle like this and talking about all the positive things that really make us happy and stuff that we feel that we could do for the world.
Yeah,
Maybe we could do something
and
like that.
And that type of stuff is, yeah, that type of stuff is
Mm-hmm.
very interesting because, oh, by the way, because we were talking about, you know, interviews with real Cherokee people or just like any sort of content that brings, you know, light to what they experience or anything like that. That could be good content for sure. Like depends on how it's shot and the presentation and all that. But yes, overall, in terms of like there definitely is a world where there's content out there that's of, you know, viral status that also communicates a good message. You know, I just think not a lot of people, I just think people like to take the shortcut of appealing to, you know, drama or negative stuff because that's a quick way. That's the quick way to capture attention, sexualization of things. But there is definitely a world where we could, I mean, yeah, it could be us right here, create the type of, you know, it's whether it's strategy on or whether it's like having the right stories to tell. Ultimately, that's what it is. Like, what's a good story to tell? What's a cool way to portray that type of stuff aside from just like, you know, interviews or whatever. We could, amongst these creative minds, I'm sure find a very interesting way to present that type of stuff.
Oh yeah,
you know,
totally.
and
I think there's a lot of toxic culture these days. So I think having outlets for people where they can connect and have, you know, there's a lot of love and caring and respect for one another is very refreshing. So I think that's something that people, I think, desire and feed off of in this desert of
absolutely.
of toxic culture in the world.
when feel good content, like when the very few time that feel good content actually goes viral, you know, like if a cute dog does something or, you know, some good, positive human interaction, for the few times that does happen, you could tell that there's a craving for that. You know, you can see it in the comments, you can see it in everything where it's like, damn, this is so refreshing. So now, yeah, imagine like a regular serving of that, of like actual positive things, bringing to light like actual real issues, you know, not just like, oh, whose baby's mama is, you know, this or anything like that, like, but bringing attention to actual real issues, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You know, I think one of the things I'm going to put the action item to all of you, and a call to action to all of you, is see if you can get some more folks to come to this next week. I think if we can all just grab some more folks, I'm curious, LT, you know, maybe some of the influencers that, you know, they don't have to be some of the largest ones, maybe just some, you know, your friends who might just want to come on and shoot the breeze, knowing that we're streaming this. And we could just have some real talk in here and get all the creative juice kind of flowing and see how we can actually figure out how to take the beauty of creativity and actually create global impact initiative out of it. So I'd love to really try to target this event more towards that.
Yeah, totally. I think I could help with that for sure. The way I would have to, I guess, package that is, you know, I'm using freaking industry terms here, but the way I would have to present that to them is like, hey, by the way, you know, this is kind of like a think tank for actually creating content that's going to be impactful and also like have a positive message, you know, and then they'll actually, some people might come in and be like, oh, that's awesome, you know, I've always wanted to bring awareness and for clean water, for example, you know, something random, and then all of a sudden that'll turn into, well, you know, I can make a video like this or that, or someone over here would be like, oh, I have access to, you know, this setting and all that. So yeah, I think if I bring it up in a way where it's like, like this is the type of content you need to start making, you know, like break out of the whole feeling like you have to feed the algorithm type stuff, because a lot of people I work with, they some of them can't afford to, you know, focus some of their attention on doing better stuff. So yeah, I just had to kind of like uh I guess like present that type of opportunity to
No,
them.
yeah, of course. No, no doubt, man. It's more about like anyone who just has the time and able to and wants to take whatever influence they have and bring it to a space that's community driven. We don't have necessarily a large kind of community viewership. We have a pretty small Discord. There's only 200 people or so on our Discord, but I think it's really good because, you know, I stream it on my Facebook. My Facebook is public, and it would be nice to see like a mix of different kind of people in a space. Some people who may have almost no notoriety, some people who have a bunch of notoriety, and I think just coming together in a forum like this would be very positive, showing that, you know, we're all here to stick together. You know, we all have human value. We all create, and we're all here to support each other. So I think it would be such a powerful statement. And it's kind of this drive, and this is kind of where I was going with this event in the first place back in the day when we first started it. So I think anything like that would be fantastic.
I wonder if there's anyone
I'm all about that.
I wonder if there's any latecomers who would like to, I don't know, have ideas about what we've been talking about or want to add something.
Oh yes, especially Zacchaeus over there. Hello, come on, Zacchaeus.
It's been a while. Been a while, guys. Been since All Space. Nice new digs.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Your audio's breaking up. I don't know if it's breaking up for everybody else.
Yeah, audio's not working well.
Can you hear me now?
It's really, you're sort of like, your voice is a dotted line.
He turns to Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah, this is my first time using Spatial. Can you hear me at all?
Are you using a microphone and a headset, or are you using like the speaker?
I just have the headset. I mean, I just default.
Maybe you have to mute yourself, Zacchaeus. Your audio is bugging.
Yeah, it's not.
It's okay. I'll help you fix it out after the next time.
All right, I can't understand you.
You're tweaking out, Zacchaeus.
It's okay.
We want to hear from you, but you're tweaking out.
It's okay.
Yeah,
he turned into the Matrix.
Not
Zacchaeus
audible.
turned into the Matrix.
What about Paul? Space travel and.
Paul is text only.
Hello.
Now or no?
Or not. I can't remember. Paul, were you text only, or were you more about like the vocals? I think Paul will share what he wants to do in the chat. What thing I got here?
Okay.
Share some stuff in the chat with us, Paul. Maybe if you want to talk a little bit about yourself. We're all here. We're all ears. We're all eyes. He's always got some interesting things. The most extravagant thing here I've seen. Just very loud. I love
Paul,
it.
the GameStop demon.
The GameStop, yeah. Fantastic.
You're gonna send me a lowball offer?
Maybe. You might not be able to exit this space. I've created it as a vortex. Oh crap! I just totally disintegrated alone.
Wait, how did I?
Did you click the floor? Possible.
Clicking the floor is not a good idea.
All right, I'm sprinting back.
That's yeah. If you click off to the side, you like I wound up in the very far away.
Yeah, yeah. The joystick was kind of weird for me.
How about now? No.
A little better, but not
Slightly
quite there.
better.
Man. Yeah, maybe my son broke my headset.
I think you turned into Morpheus.
I just wanted to say hi, man. It's been a while since All Space.
Oh yeah, totally. We can hear you. It's just like very hard. It's
Yeah,
very
welcome.
weird sounding. It's great to see you, dude. That's a good question, Zacchaeus. What browser are you using? You could type it too in the chat if you want.
Just Spatial on Quest.
Oh, you're on the Quest headset right now? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your internet connection.
Maybe let me just get out of here and try to come back to it.
Hold on. Go back to the Matrix, Morpheus. Go back to the Matrix.
Maybe if your granular synthesizer is on.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And that was from Kraftwerk. That was a Kraftwerk track that Zacchaeus was singing for us. Fantastic. Oh, I got to put my power on. My laptop is about to die. So anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, that was a pretty nice chat. It was pretty organic and smooth. You know, we talked about a bunch of things. I'm just interested in getting some stuff done and helping people. So we got to get done.
Everybody's talking about saving the world.
We got to save the world, yo. One step at a time.
Starting with putting out good content.
Like I just like you.
Go ahead.
Was that Daryl?
Who said what?
Who's up first? Who's up first?
Dumping.
I don't know. Third
you
base.
Saying something, then you stop. You cut yourself off.
Well, somebody else was talking.
So all of the answers come from within the money simulation that's confusing us, if you ask me. And it becomes that the finance industry unionizing with itself and thinking really long term and integrating charity into itself and using tokenomics and then having a battle with the government to be able to run peer-to-peer finance. It's all on. You just have to know where to look for it. And I would love to show any of y'all my findings, and I will do my best to come back next week, because honestly I think that I'd probably like to hire some of you all to do some of this stuff, because we need, it's like once one layer of the money simulation comes online and it opens up another level of the tech and the tokenomics connecting communities, it opens up a whole new layer of business to be done in the aligned paradigm. I can explain it in some depth, and like obviously the end of this call is not time for it, but what's happening is a workers co-op casino. It's like the house always wins, the earth is the house, we all co-create it together. And at every level, the casino aspect, the gambling aspect, just think about it as like money becomes encoded with hope. That's the way that we do this thing. It was encoded with fear and manipulative tactics. Now money gets encoded with hope and the truth.
Well, honestly, Lucas, my hope is that we could take human value and turn that into a token. So it's no longer currency. What it is a measurable output of what people do. And no longer will people be able to rule off of just something that has a value to it. They'll actually have to present their value to the table and accept the fact that we all have some value. And then it's all really important. That's the ultimate goal.
Based currency.
Well, so what it is we've got, it was World War I and then World War II, and we can go more on the names and whatnot, but we break the pattern World War meme, and it's anti-memes, not the stuff that perpetuates nonsense, but we break the trance, which is inevitable. It's like, and so what does human value look to you boil down into a branding and a tagline? This is what's hilarious to me about the whole thing. I've been putting out as my brand the Fractal Comedy Club, which like I've got to be a better comedian than I've been. Yeah, because what I see is that money becomes a joke.
Well, one of the things that's really interesting about that too is that Anders' project in Design Science Studio is Fractal Marx, and his idea for that was to take a language and turn it into symbols. So it's symbology, and actually those are the NFTs that we're going to be working on to have ownership to the digital part of all the stuff that we're working on. But the only way human value makes sense is if everyone really understands they have a part in life, and everyone's part in life is important. How do you explain that? That's the key thing. How do you explain to someone, okay, I have a heart surgeon in the room, I got a brain surgeon, I've got a janitor, I've got a school teacher, I've got somebody who works at Kmart, and I've got someone who's just sitting here keeping me company. Every single one of those people have the exact same value. They create the community. So that's the kind of mindset I'm looking to create, because we're all important. And I think what happens is there is some kind of overabundance of importance for some people. And a lot of people just feel like they're worthless. So once we bring up the worthless a little bit more and bring down those egos, I think we'll get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
How would you go about, I guess, like what sort of variables would go into that valuation, you know?
That's really interesting, and part of the experiment is to figure that out. So I think the variables will be created in micro communities where everyone has something to do, and they flourish in these things. And all these folks make the community. It's like kind of what we're doing here at Heartland Collective. It's a micro community. Everyone has something to add. We all have a role here, and then you start bridging out from that, and then through this process, figure out, okay, someone puts in 5 hours worth of doing something. It created the space.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say one thing I think would be cool is kind of like how many dependents you have. Like, for example, I think me nurturing my dog is a very valuable part of what I contribute to the community, you know, because my dog brings a lot of joy to people. But, you know, I think if it wasn't for that, one could look at me and just be like, oh, he's like a single dude, whatever, you know, he's probably not really doing much. So like I think one thing is like it'd be, hey, how many dependents, you know, you are responsible for.
Well, I think, you're not giving yourself enough credit. You help people to organize themselves in a very important way. And that's a very critical skill. A lot of people don't necessarily have that ability to be able to see what a bunch of people are doing and help amplify that to where it's actually much more powerful. So that's what a mentor is, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
You're welcome. So stick with that. And it's really powerful. Like we're going to need this regardless of what community we're in, what kind of monetary system we're in. There's going to be a bunch of folks who come in here who are just like savants in so many different ways in whatever they do. And then through these savants, we're going to have people who can actually help organize them and their thoughts, because there's nothing wrong with them. They're very focused on very specific things. It might sound a little bit crazy. They might sound a little bit crazy. But the truth is, maybe they just need someone organized in their life who could see value, someone who's got discipline. You do martial arts. That takes a lot of discipline. So this is why you do what you do.
Superpowers.
We all have superpowers, man.
We have to discover them.
Specific.
Yeah. Try to discover our latent superpowers if we haven't already. We're incarnate.
I think my superpower is I took too many mushrooms. What, say that on my Facebook? Crap. I am my worst enemy on my own Facebook. There goes Daryl. He just left.
That's what Facebook for. That's what, look at the founder of Facebook.
I clicked on the floor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is he here?
No, we see you, right? No, he's not here. This is spatial. No one's here. No, I'm kidding. Of course. You didn't hear me say that spatial. So this is like alt space. No one's here.
The confounder of Facebook.
Yeah.
So can I offer? Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lucas. Go ahead.
Some thoughts on this question earlier about the bottom.
Yes.
Which is it's very financially it's very hard to be behind the curve, and at the bottom of the economy you see people nickel and diming each other. And actually, I mean, in the world these days you see a lot of like the top preying on the bottom too. Like think about microfinance in the United States in the form that, I mean, I don't know if there are more, I'm surely there are more benevolent forms, but like there's all the payday loan companies that basically ensnare and enslave poor people. And but actually, if a microfinance operation works through a trust network and coaches microfinancial savvy, what it ends up doing is it unionizes the bottom of the economy so that they don't unnecessarily compete with one another. They don't compete with one another in a way that drags each other down. They only compete with one another in a way to differentiate.
Yeah.
And this then raises their capacity everywhere. And actually, as the labor shortage and the supply chain shortage and the whole economic issue becomes, the debt crisis is going to keep getting so bad that the only way for societies around the world to deal with it will be by repackaging debt on every level of the society.
Right. You know, it's funny. That's the only thing that currency really does, is it creates debt. It creates things that we want, things we feel like we need to have. I like what you said before. It's like you're not competing. You're basically supporting each other. You're supporting each other, not competing.
Tool of capitalism of getting more money to the rich and less money to the poor.
Well, this is, I mean, it's like OPEC is also a union, and they're a union that is designed, and there's actually, I mean, there's good reasons. It's like they're desert oasis countries. They need to have some natural resource that keeps them rich enough to protect themselves on some level. That's been amidst the war fighting of the 20th century. And so OPEC has been keeping oil paying good money to the people who unionize around it. But OPEC, who's OPEC really being? Who's the union boss? Exxon. Come on, Exxon. And so it's the union of money producing countries, really. And that's what the top does with one another. They don't compete at the very top of the economy, really. I mean, they compete for like shares of the big pie, but then they prey off the bottom. But as the trust in government collapses, and if like as we basically loot the center of the empire and export the money, the financial services to the periphery, to where has been extracted from, in prototype businesses that marry business models and create rapid mechanisms to transfer wealth. Like, we've got the rapid transition if we want it.
You know, something really interesting, this is kind of like my focus in the creative meetups and all of the discussions we've been having. It's just like, how do we amplify those words? Imagine this group had 160 million followers, 200 million followers. Imagine you had 2 million, 100 million followers. Imagine those words inspired someone that has 200 million followers, 1 billion followers. We could totally get these words across. And right now we're at the pinnacle of technology where it could happen like a ripple so fast it would change the world instantaneously. No one could stop it. And this is kind of like where I see we're at right now. Like, I can just myself create a space like this and have this event, and all of a sudden all sorts of folks come in here and we start really speaking our mind, and then all of a sudden these words get out there. So I say, just let's go for it.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I like hearing about different issues in different sectors, like Lucas, you're touching upon finance. Like, I think that's a world where a lot of people know there's a lot of corruption and such, but they don't know to what extent, or it's just like so overwhelming that, you know, people, I guess not a lot of people look into it. Personally, I'd love to learn more about it. So, you know, if there's anything, materials or anything you feel comfortable sharing, or any of the stuff you work on, I would love to check it out.
Yeah, I saw you said we should stream to Twitch. I could stream to 2 platforms right now. The only problem is I'm trying to figure out what's got the most reach and will have the most impact. And I'm not on Twitch, so if someone else wants to use their Twitch account, we could stream this. Another thing I really wanted to stream this too was LinkedIn.
if you can stream to LinkedIn, I think that different ones of us could stream to different things, and then we could publicize it in different ways. I've worked on a newspaper to announce the sort of like the rumor mill announcing it's the global jubilee, and we can publish out through all kinds of different print media if we want in time.
Well, one of the interesting things I could probably figure out is I
stream.
can get everyone stream keys, and we could totally stream this out in all of our networks. Technology and media production was part of my bread and butter. So I got a stream key. We are able to then stream this out. I use Restream, the free one right now, just because it's the easiest, and I can stream to 2 platforms of my choice. They have everyone. So, and I use OBS, but that's a whole other story. I could probably figure out a way of doing that better.
Yeah, that works.
This is definitely a good conversation. I've been having a very hard time in life, especially the past couple of weeks. And I keep on asking myself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Of course, I know what I'm doing with my life. And I really believe in what I'm doing with my life, but it's really helpful to have people around me too that also want to do amazing things with their life and are also in line. So yeah, today was very emotional for me, and the past couple of weeks have been very emotional. So I really appreciate you all coming out. I almost didn't even necessarily even want to. Of course, I wanted to do this event because we had it planned, but it's just like so hard for me sometimes just to come out here and do this, especially with the fact that like I put all of my heart and energy into all of this. I put all of my heart and energy into everything I do. I'm volunteering basically here at Heartland as we're building this thing with the faith that we're going to get it to work and everyone's going to be taken care of. So I'm just really doing all this on faith right now, based on a need that I see in humanity, and it's just very difficult actually. And it was just thanks for everyone for coming by and sharing all the things you're doing. Really appreciate it.
Hey man, you're crushing it. It's freaking amazing, and I don't think we would all be here if it wasn't for the overall message of just like shifting mindsets and getting people to really just like understand that there's an abundance for everybody,
There is an abundance for everyone, and everyone's important. Now, how do we get them to believe that? That's the trick. We'll figure it out, though.
Definitely.
Even someone like Paul Space Traveling here, he's not able to use a microphone. He texts every once in a while. He's just holding space and cheering everyone on. That's just as valuable as any other position in here, or whatever else we do. So this is really what I appreciate about community. It's fantastic, and one of the nice things about Spatial is I think the entire Spatial community is a creative community. I don't know if there are any just kind of people in here who just go and hang out in Spatial, but I think almost everyone in here does some creative thing, which is remarkable. But I just really hope that the platform comes together a little bit better. Maybe we can actually help them do that. Yeah, Paul knows what I'm talking about. A lot of glitches in here. We gotta fix that shit. There you go.
I like the hearts. I just don't like the clapping sound.
Yeah, I know. You could do breakdancing. I have twerking. I added it. Where's my twerking?
I have this clapping sound.
You have twerking in here.
I uploaded custom twerking.
Love it.
Could you imagine a world where anyone could basically take objects, put them together, create spaces like this, create entire productions, all sorts of like real-time production, theater, whatever. And I think this is the direction it's going, and because everything is kind of so two-dimensional these days. This is just like so powerful, and it's not difficult. That's kind of like the beautiful thing about this. You just have to kind of like learn to use the tools. And for me, it's just my design. I'm a designer too, so I understand how to do a lot of this stuff. But this is the way.
Some hardware on your face, and then it's easy.
What is that?
You just clamp this hardware onto your face, and then it's easy.
Oh yeah, just drop the hardware in your face and it's easy.
All
So
right,
this
so
space
it's
is
about
very
dinner.
yeah. All right, man. Thanks for coming
About
out,
dinner
dude.
time in Cali.
Nice to
But
meet you
yo,
all.
appreciate all the time, and I love hanging out. I don't do enough of socializing in any capacity, so I appreciate y'all being here and just like talking through this stuff.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
just if y'all are around next time, we'll catch you next time. If not, then have a good life.
All right, man.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace out.
You have a good life.